Hello there, PCA members. Thanks for jumping on and watching this webinar with Angie today. Today we're talking to you all about off-season marketing strategies. We want to cover some things that are going to really help you to stay busy year-round, things that you should be thinking about now and into Q1 to really help you build your business and help you to meet your goals for 2026. So let's jump into the content here. We're going to start with some introductions. My name is Heidi Manning. I am the Partnership Program Manager for the PCA. I've been managing this partnership for a few years now and really enjoy the shows that I go to and I get to meet you all at. I've been with Angie now for almost 12 years and I've been part of our enterprise partnerships, business development, whatever you want to call us, whatever we've been called over the last 5 years. I've been with this team for about 5.5 years now. We also have Miles joining us today. Miles is one of our partnership growth executives. Miles, do you want to give a quick introduction of yourself, your role, and your experience at Angi?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Heidi, and thanks everybody for taking your time to watch this here with us. My name again is Miles Bernstein, a partnership growth executive. What that means is essentially while Heidi's working more so with your guys' corporate level, I'm kind of more in the trenches with you guys one on one, doing everything we can to help optimize not just your account, but your experience here with Angie. I've been with the company going on 5 years in just a couple weeks, come the start of January, and in this role, working with our partnership pros such as you guys for 3 years now.
Awesome. Thanks, Miles. And nothing but great things to say about Miles. Been working with him for the 3 years he's been with the team and seen him make a lot of impactful changes and help pros in really positive ways. And then finally, we have a special guest joining us today. I'm really excited about this one. We have Dominic Caminata. I said that right, correct,
Close
Dominic?
enough.
Cool. He is with Grasso University, CEO and founder of Grasso University. And they provide sales training, coaching, and business development programs. They're all designed to help home improvement pros just like yourself. So, Dominic, give us a quick introduction and some background about, what got you into this.
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say thank you to both of you for including us in this conversation. I'm really excited about it. And I just want to say thanks to Angie for the partnership. So I don't know how many people know about like Mad City Roofing, Siding, and Windows and that company's journey, but that's where I started back in 2010 as an outside salesperson. As a matter of fact, Angie's List at the time, which is now Angie, was an integral part of our success in our lead generation machine throughout my entire career. But my claim to fame is I built a $100 million sales powerhouse over the course of 9 years, and it was one of the highest performing sales teams in the country at the time. And today that sales team is pacing 500 million. So doing a lot of damage. And the foundation of all that was the Grasso step selling sales process. In 2019, my mentor, Rick Grasso, actually retired from being a trainer and coach in the industry. And I have the honor and privilege of carrying on his legacy. And because a lot of people wonder, like, why isn't it called Dominic University or Caminati University? So I named it after my mentor who gave me the gift that changed my life, which is the sales methodology. And it's my goal to pay it forward to as many people as I can. So that's what Gross University is here for. We are the premier training and consulting organization in the home improvement industry. And that certainly includes all interior and exterior contractors. And our theme is profits for sanity. So we're going to give you whatever training tools, systems, and processes that are necessary in order for you to grow and scale a profitable business. And of course, marketing, sales, production, operations, all these pillars deserve attention. And that's what we're here for. We have a team of elite coaches that can help with all the pillars of the business, from phone call to install, everywhere in between. And that's why we really love the partnership with Angie, because can't recommend them enough to all of our clients. And of course, being the premier lead generation machine of the industry, it's really an honor to be a part of what they're building. So thank you again.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you for being here. And on such short notice, we just asked Dom to
Anytime.
join us yesterday, and he was all over it. So, all right, well, let's jump in here and go through some of the meat and potatoes of the presentation. So real quick about Angie, right? We're talking about marketing strategies in the off season. What does Angie know about that, right? Well, if you don't know who Angie is, we are lead generation. We are a platform who connects homeowners with skilled pros. We help our pros grow get the work they want and grow their business. So we know all about lead generation. We know all about marketing, lead follow-up. And that's where our expertise really comes in. Real quick, just so you have an idea of how Angi works, a homeowner, when they come to Angi, they're going to fill out a service request form through our consumer journey and tell us a little bit about their project. We're then going to match them with available pros in their area who can help complete that project. Once the consumer sees those pros, they get to choose, which pro or pros they want to connect with. And then, of course, they hire the pro and then they leave you a 5-star rating. And then when a construction or home service pro comes to Angi, you get to set your task and your zip code preferences. So anything, I mean, we are incredibly detailed on the different services that you can offer here. We have different plans, so you can pick the plan that best fits your business and best fits your marketing needs at any time. And then we're going to connect. The biggest thing is connecting pros with those interested homeowners. And of course, winning the work and collecting those 5-star ratings and reviews. Just a quick, 38,000 foot view of who Angi is and how we work. And as of this year, homeowners have turned to Angi with more than 300 million projects. So when Dom said kind of the leader in the lead generation space, it really rings true when you see that 300 million project number.
Yep, the stat there I believe is 1 in 7 households statistically use Angie at least once throughout the year to really show the scope that we're reaching here.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing if you really think about it. I mean, like 7 houses just on my little cul-de-sac here, right?
Exactly. Yep.
All right, so let's jump in. Let's talk about off-season marketing strategies and what you should be doing and thinking through right now to prepare you for 2026 and help you meet your goals. So what is an off season? I'm not going to insult you all by diving into this too much. Off season is we're in the thick of it, right? It is the off season right now. If you're up north, you have converted all of your projects to indoor projects. And even in Colorado, there are some days where we're not doing anything as far as exterior work. So landscapers, roofing can take a back seat, definitely. This is when projects slow down, lead generation slows down. People are putting money towards their holidays, right? The holiday gifts, holiday travel, vacations while the kids are out of school. And so off season is when things just take a little bit of a dip, and it's the perfect time to look at your revenue, look at your new business inquiries, and then decide what changes you might need to make. So let's talk about specifics on what we should be looking through. So we're going to break this down into 3 strategies. Incentives and promotions. So think of, book your interior paint job before the holiday rush and receive a discount. Customer engagement. Don't go dark, right? We're going to talk about not going dark, how to keep your customers engaged, whether they are customers you already have done work for, or maybe you're looking back at some of your customers that didn't convert yet. What are we doing to reach out to them to try to generate that business still? And then we're going to talk about tactics and channels. I think everybody knows at this point in this stage, you should be taking lots of before and after photos of your work, update your website. If you have a blog, create a blog if in the off season here, if that's something that you want to consider. Your Angie profile, your Pinterest, all of this could help drive more traffic. I love this statistic. I've actually found this one really interesting, and I haven't looked at Pinterest myself since, gosh, 2018 when I was probably, planning my wedding, but I haven't really had to look at it too much. But 85% of pinners say that they used Pinterest to plan new projects. So it's actually, didn't think about this, but this is a great way to reach new customers is having, a Pinterest or some sort of social account.
And all of those socials, websites, Pinterest links of your own can always be advertised on your profile here with us to make sure you're really optimizing the views and eyeballs you get on them for you guys.
Yeah, great point. So let's dive in. Let's dissect each of these a little bit more. Incentives and promotions. So homeowner facing, we talked, briefly there. I mentioned, hey, book now to save 10% off before the holiday rush, or maybe you want them to book now before the new season starts. So homeowner facing incentives. Dominic, what other like I'm curious just because again you this is your wheelhouse, right? You talk about how do we generate business, how do we build business. What other homeowner facing promotions have you seen work? And actually, back up, more importantly, what should be considered when creating a promotion? And then share, some ideas of those promotions that maybe you have seen work in the past.
Yeah, so what we see a lot of our top clients do is kind of promo stacking where they'll have some sort of incentive, whether it's a discount off labor, a flat percentage off the project as a whole, or a flat dollar amount off the project. And they'll stack that with like an Amazon gift card, which a lot of people could use around the holiday season. And then maybe a no payment, no interest bridge loan opportunity. So people have the opportunity to max out their credit cards like they do every Christmas and still find a way to invest in this paint project and pushing the actual obligation to pay for the project down the road. So a lot of our clients will actually market and advertise like no payments, no interest until 2027. Stuff like that really gets the phones ringing because a lot of people love the idea of getting their house repainted inside and out. However, when they max out the credit cards for Christmas or they splurge and all this stuff around the holidays, they just can't. So I think a lot of people underestimate the power of leveraging financing as a boomerang to the sale. But yeah, the Amazon gift cards, advertising those promotions, and I love what you said, creating urgency behind these things, booking this stuff before the holidays to redeem extra savings. So you got to have some built-in hurry and urgency with all these promotions because most of your prospects will start procrastination clubs, they just never get around to it. So we just got
Yeah.
to make sure we give them a deadline to actually make that call to redeem the special offers.
Yeah. I think the kids call that FOMO these days.
Yeah, fear of missing out.
Create that fear
Absolutely.
of missing out, right? That sense of urgency. And I think that the big thing too is make sure you have a call to action in there, right? You can say this, but make sure that there's a specific call to action too, so that that customer takes that next step.
Yeah, a lot of companies too, they'll even say, we're basically looking for 10 homeowners or the first 10 homeowners, and then they'll run another ad. Now we're down to five. So basically, every time they hear your ad, it's less and less. So it creates that FOMO effect. So thinking about that, if you're creating, whether it's on TV, on the radio, or even how you market and advertise on social media or your other channels, making sure that as they keep seeing the repetition of your ads, that it seems to be closer and closer to the deadline, and they could miss out if they don't take advantage of it. It's no different like if I'm on Expedia and I'm trying to lock in a rate on my flight, they have that countdown ticker, that timer. It's like I don't know if it's real or not, but it gets me thinking like probably should lock in this price so it doesn't
Yeah,
go up on me all of a sudden out of
yeah,
nowhere.
exactly.
Now, one thing I just want to say about promotions and calls to action, don't do these ridiculous promotions like buy one, get one free, and like we'll take 100% off your project where it's like you cut into your margin and you lose all credibility. Because I see a lot of sales forces where the salespeople are forced to sell jobs more focused on price versus value. Still make sure that whatever you're advertising is maintaining your value proposition and keeping you the perception in the marketplace as the elite, right? We're not interested in winning a bidding war or chucking a truck, right? So we want to be perceived as being a top quality operation. I always used to preach to my team, I want us to be considered like the Rolls-Royce dealership of the industry. We don't apologize for being a little bit more, we brag about it. Of course, we can have a promotion, but make sure it's like a very let's just say honest and legitimate offering instead of something that just sounds ridiculous like buy one house get the other house for free
Right.
because some of that stuff can come off as gimmicky and you lose a lot of trust with your audience and it's not good for your brand image in the marketplace either.
Yeah. And I think a big thing too, when we think about that is I had a separate presentation a few years ago about marketing to millennials. And turns out, so with the younger generations here, I mean, you think of millennials, though, they live in their parents' basement, still paying off their student loans. No, we're 44 years old, right? Like the elder
Yeah,
millennials are 44 years old. We are homeowners. And one of the biggest things is trust with
yeah,
millennials is that trust. And like you
right.
said, you don't want something gimmicky. we'll
Yeah, it rubs
flag
them the wrong
those.
way from the get-go, right?
Yeah,
So,
we'll catch that right off the bat. So
mhm.
that's a great point. Thank you. Internal contests too. So not only do you want the homeowner, right, to be motivated to book that project, right, to move forward with their project, you have to motivate your sales teams, right? Maybe your call center, to keep things moving this time of year, right? I think most of us, a lot of us are thinking about what happens after next week. We can't wait to forget what day of the week it is for just a little while, right? As we move through the holidays here. So I think keeping your sales team motivated is just as important, if not more important, right, than those homeowner incentives. So
Yeah.
I've never ran a sales team myself. I have some examples here, right? Upsell contests, a sales scavenger hunt. So that actually sounds like a lot of fun. I would do something like that where, you have to complete a list of sales related tasks to earn points and prizes, a call blitz. But again, Dominic, sales training, this is 100% your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
What do you think are some of the most important pieces of running an internal contest and keeping that sales team motivated? And share with me, like, give some other ideas of what are
Oh,
some
yeah.
sales contests.
So
You've
this is a
ran
very loaded question I could talk about for hours. I'll try to be brief. But like truthfully, one thing that really helped me when I was leading and commanding my team is I had a lot of one-on-one calls. So I just want to emphasize, any of you that are leading and commanding a sales team, you got to have routine communication with these individuals, preferably one-on-one. Because I would flat out ask them, I'm like, if I were to create a sales contest that would only be tailored for you and for you alone, what would that look like? How would you structure it? What would we put on the line? Like, what gets you excited? And I would ask that to every one of my salespeople because, as you can imagine, not everyone's motivated by the same things. And because of that, Heidi, occasionally I would have three or four different contests going on simultaneously because I understood that some of those things would motivate some people and some other contests would motivate others. Like, for example, we would often put we were sponsors of the Green Bay Packers. Of course, we're here in Wisconsin, frozen tundra. So we put Packer tickets on the line. And there's something about those darn Packer tickets where there was a select group of avid football fans that love to go to Lambeau. I mean, they would write up $500,000 in a month to get those Packer tickets, right? And then some salespeople got more motivated by just having a night off with their wife, or they can go get a nice steak dinner on us, or something like that. Some sales reps get excited when they do a team competition. So often we would break up the company into two teams. And how we would pick those teams is the top two closers from, for example, November would be the team captains in December. They would pick their teams like in dodgeball, and then the teams go head to head. And there's a lot of benefits there because not only do you get your teams, it's friendly competition, but now it's like I get another sales leader helping me out because that team captain's going to help inspire and fire up his team, right? Get him motivated. And there's a lot of things you can do. I mean, I'd have competitions based on closing percentages. I'd have competitions based on average sale. I'd have competitions based on sheer volume or NSLI. Sometimes several going on simultaneously. So I think the big message I like to convey here is have an understanding as to what motivates each individual on your team. That's going to help you structure contests for your team wide, and make sure there's a lot of urgency behind it. Now, we did all kinds of different things, Heidi, with not only monthly contests, but also annual. So, one thing we did is we had an annual, call it like a President's Club, where if they hit $2 million by the end of the year, they qualify for an all-inclusive vacation with their whole team, all the people that made the President's Club, where they can go celebrate for a week all-inclusive. I mean, that got salespeople fired up. And I want to tell you a true story. I had a sales rep that was way behind on getting this President's Club recognition and going on that vacation. And because of that deadline, they knew they had to hit that $2+ million mark by the end of December. The sales rep wrote up $600,000 in December in home improvement sales, right? Because they had the deadline. So
Yeah,
one
you
thing is
wanted
like,
that.
yeah, don't take your foot off the gas too prematurely just because it's December and the holidays are coming up. I mean, there's still a lot of business that can be made, and ideally, I want to be going into the new year with momentum, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yes. And that's really why we're here, right? How do we send our PCA members into the year with that momentum? So
And I got one of my clients too where they do punch boxes and cash grabs. So literally the top closer gets to come to the sales meeting the following month and they got these punch boxes set up in the room and they punch through the paper and they do these cash grabs and they have a spin the wheel and they got all kinds of fun creative things.
Yeah,
One last thing I just wanted to share on this is company outings was a huge motivator for my team. And this is an opportunity for your whole team company wide to earn something together. So I'd put a goal. Let's say as a business, my goal is 2 million as a company for December. If we hit that goal, then we do a company outing the following month where everyone comes together. So anytime you can combine a competition with a team building exercise like that, it's a win-win. So
I love that. Absolutely love that. And I can resonate with that. So we one have President's Club here at Angi as well. And there's just I mean there's I think almost every day or a few times at least a few times a week, right? There's hey, post your wins. You get something, maybe it's a just a gift card to DoorDash, which I'll take that. I don't want to cook dinner after working 8 to 5, right? I don't want to leave my
yeah.
desk and go cook dinner. I'll take that DoorDash. So I think
Yeah,
it's
just to
really
give you an idea, I haven't shared this on many conversations, but my wife and I got married on a company trip. And I had four of my salespeople that all got married on company sponsored vacations in front of their peers. It's like so magical. But these are memories they're making that are going to last a lifetime. But these are things that get people fired up about, finishing the year at record pace. So hitting those
oh,
goals. So
absolutely. All right, let's jump into the next couple of items here and dissect these. Let's talk about staying in touch, customer engagement. So maintaining your base of clients, just because you've finished a job for a customer doesn't mean that they're no longer a customer. They are now your customer for life.
mhm.
And you want to reach out to them. They already know you and they trust you. So stay top of mind with them with regular emails. You can reach out with upsells on services. Maybe last time they didn't have the funds to get the additional accessories when they painted their cabinets. Hey, we're having a special right now. Did you know we're running a special on these accessories that we couldn't add last time? One of the big things I think is important, whether it's maintaining your current customers or reaching out to leads that maybe hadn't converted for that year, is educational materials. I think consumers, homeowners get a bit turned off when every piece of communication that they receive from a pro is salesy. I'm going to unsubscribe pretty darn quick if that's what it is, but
Yeah.
now's a great time of year to talk about, what are we looking forward to in 2026? What's going to be trending in 2026? Have we now moved away from gray, white, and black on every wall, and we're getting back to adding colors, right? What do we think the big colors are going to be? What are going to be the popular looks for 2026? And share that kind of information with your customers, whether they're previous customers or clients you still just haven't reached out to or haven't gotten a hold of yet. So Dom, in your experience, what are the most effective ways to stay in touch with your previous customers? And then how do you get them back? How do you earn them back to do the next project?
Well, I just want to say, in general, everyone watching this should have a rehash department and a rehash strategy. Less than 20% of home improvement companies, home services companies have any rehash department at all. And you're basically sitting on a gold mine there waiting to be tapped into, whether it's previous no sales, cancellations, things of that nature. List just collecting dust. So make sure you're tapping into that. And there's a lot of technologies nowadays with AI and automation that can do a lot of the heavy lifting on that. So make sure you're taking advantage of that. I wanted to reference a client that we worked with, and it's called the Window Experts. Are you familiar with this company out of Houston, the Window Experts?
I am not, but
Okay, so everyone
yeah.
after this, after they watch this, go on YouTube, type in the Window Experts, and look at what this guy has done. He has 33,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel. This is a guy that owns a window company, and he's created 365 windows. These are strictly just educational videos for the average consumer that's looking to vet out a contractor, buy windows for their home. It's homeowner facing. And he's just educating them on all the different facets of what makes a good window. How do you buy a window? What are some red flags if you're talking to a window company, right? All the questions that a homeowner might have. And I just can't help but think that everyone watching this, what if you had a YouTube channel that was like the painting expert? And you're creating all this free educational content. And the reason why I know this is effective, this guy has one of the most amazing organic lead generation machines I've ever seen in my life. So basically, for free, he's getting leads off of YouTube. And these people have so much trust established with him and his company already as the experts that it's like lay down city. These people are all ready to buy before they even come into the house. It's insane.
Yeah.
So to piggyback off of this, what I see a lot of our clients also having success with, along with like educational content like YouTube, is, and you mentioned this already, Heidi, like articles and newsletters. I got one client I just worked with. They have a big company in Florida. They have an article they wrote on how to purchase replacement windows, and they get probably 5 leads a week off of that one article. There's something about the way that the algorithm just pushed that article to the masses. All of a
Mhm.
sudden, like everyone sees it. But pushing that educational content, sharing that with your past, present, and future customers, that's stuff that really matters. And I agree with you wholeheartedly, Heidi. You can't just be trying to sell, 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 sell. I mean, the average person is exposed to 5,500 solicitation attempts daily. So if you're just another person trying to sell them something, they automatically have a guard up against that. So if I can sprinkle in some educational content, some motivational content, inspirational stuff, and also sprinkle in a promo here and there, kind of break the pattern, that's far more likely to get some eyeballs. I also have clients that they do a podcast where they basically have their own podcast, their own show. And again, they are the expert in their chosen profession. So it could be a painters only podcast where I'm educating people on the painting industry, interviewing the brightest minds, maybe from the manufacturer all the way down to even the dealer level. And just talking all things about the painting industry, what to look for when investing in paint, comparing different manufacturers, all that stuff. It's really interesting. One client of mine has a radio talk show. And
Oh,
again,
wow.
just locally in your community, figure out a way you can start building trust with your audience, especially when things slow down. How can I serve up some free educational content so they can start building a relationship with me and getting to know me? And here's the formula I want to share with everybody. There's a lot of data behind this. If someone watches 7 hours of your content, they'll buy anything that you have. So figure out a way. People love their Netflix video series, right? And they get stuck
Yeah.
on this Netflix stuff. How can I engineer like a YouTube channel or a podcast or a radio talk show where people can kind of get lost going through the different episodes, kind of get hooked on it? And then it's going to get to the point where it's like, I need this person in my life. And then
Right.
you're going to have this organic lead generation machine that's going to be unstoppable. So,
Yeah. I love that. I see these are this is why I'm so glad you're here with us, Tom. All things that I know I wouldn't think of. Miles, maybe you are thinking more along these lines than I am, but I these are definitely not things I would even think of, and I mean I'm in marketing. I talk about marketing to our pros all the time, but
yeah,
not
and that goes
this
without
all
saying, don't neglect your social media either.
yeah.
But the reason why I like YouTube and why I started there is guess how much content the Window Experts has for social media now based on I think they have 365 videos on their YouTube channel. If you look at it now, they can take all that content, cut it up into all these cool short reels and different quick hitting, what do they call them? The shorts, social media shorts.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
you push that out into all the different social channels. And that's a really simple way you can keep in touch with your customers because guess where they are? Do you know that the average American spends 4.5 hours on social media right now? The
Yeah.
average American.
Yeah.
So
And that
that's where I want to be. That's where they're
yeah.
gonna I can keep in touch with them.
Yep. You have to you hear this in all in so many different ways, but meet them where they are,
Yeah,
right? You got to
that's
meet
where
them
they
where they
are.
are. So, let's jump into collecting reviews and referrals. Now, if things are slow for you right now and you don't have a ton of business coming in, you're in the office, now is the time to go back through that customer list from the last, 90 days, right? And say, maybe you've already reached out to them to ask them for a review. Things are busy. This time of year is even busier. Ask again. Reach out to these clients, give them options as to where they can leave a review, right? When I had my windows done, I had the company, they sent me the thank you email. I could click on the Google icon, the Angi icon, because yes, they were on Angi.
Mhm.
And there was another one, I can't remember what the third one was, but I could select any icon and it would direct me to where I could leave a review based off of what I chose, whether Google or Angie.
Hmm.
And it's that we talk about we hear pros all the time say, well, I don't do any lead generation, or I don't have, Google business, but I get all my business is word of mouth. And I can't stress enough how your word of mouth is now your online ratings and reviews. Even if my neighbor is going to suggest or recommend a company to me, what's my next step? I'm going to go online and I'm going to look at that company online, right? I'm not just going to call them. I'm going to still look them up and look at their online reputation.
Absolutely. And one thing that a lot of the pros I work with were moving to, and something I recommend, is a lot of tools out there nowadays to create your own QR code. Put it in all of your email signatures, have that link to each of those places for them to leave that review, right? Reviews are so vital today's day and age. You can have that one code automatically on all those drip marketing emails that we just kind of reviewed and you guys are hopefully sending out. And now every time they can open that and see, perfect, I can leave them the review on Angi, on Google, etc., etc. Same with your social links and all of these tools we've reviewing. You can always link onto one handy code. Make sure it's on all of your communication so everyone can always access all your platforms and all your reviews.
Yeah, I just want to say you should be getting 2 reviews for every home. So what I train my companies to do is at the point of sale. Okay, so the salesperson earns the prospect's business. Obviously, emotions are heightened. There must have been something that the salesperson said or did that allowed that homeowner to trust them and feel secure giving them their hard-earned money. Because that's what's really cool about this industry. I mean, you think the trust factor has got to be off the charts because they're buying a fantasy. They're
Yeah, and if
basically
your home is your biggest investment, right?
yeah, exactly. So at the point of sale, I had every one of my salespeople getting a review from the homeowner right then and there, right after they closed the sale, on what exactly made them feel comfortable moving forward on the project and how their experience was with the design consultant or the in-home representative, preferably with that salesperson's name in it. Because now
Yeah.
your salesperson is building online credibility, and those are reviews that they can showcase to future prospects. And I like to think of online reviews and social proof as virtual word of mouth. I mean, if you like word of mouth, wouldn't you like that to get out to even a bigger mass of people? And that's all that reviews really are, is social
Right.
proof and word of mouth. And then at the point of install, and I agree with you, Miles, the salesperson to make this easy and the installation crew should have a simple, it could be like a business card size little thank you with a QR code where, tell us your experience. And then you're getting reviews not only at the point of sale, but also after the installation crew delivered on the promises, you're getting a second review based on that experience. And here's why I think this is valuable. If someone's really going online and trying to vet your company and they're wondering if they even want a representative to come into their house and they're looking at reviews, wouldn't it kind of lower their fear of having a design consultant come in their house to even give them the quote if they're reading all these positive reviews on that experience alone? I
Hmm.
had a representative come in, they were super professional, very courteous, answered all of our questions. That lowers my fear of even bringing you in to give me a price.
Right.
So they're more likely to give you a call, and then they can see also that you saw that project through to completion and delivered on your promises, which is really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of double dipping the chip there, but that's you should be getting 2 reviews. Now, if the crews can't get that second review at the point of install, if your salespeople have any downtime in their schedule after the job's done, you delivered on the beautiful painting project, that sales representative that initially sold it should be paying a visit, go revisit them, preferably bring a gift, something as a thank you and congratulations, and get a review at that point. Because it's really impressive when that salesperson comes back out to check on them after the install. So,
Yeah.
Dominic, that sounds like a great opportunity for a contest, right? How many second reviews can your sale guys get?
yep. And I wanted to share something that I did with my team that was really powerful. So at the point of sale, along with getting a review on Google, I had my salespeople take this device. You ever seen one of these cell phones?
Oh no, what's that?
Once or
So,
twice.
so sometimes we take for granted that the cameras on these things are more advanced than any camera available in the world like 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And this is not used enough. So they would take out their cell phones and they would get a 30-second to 1 minute testimonial video from the homeowner basically sharing why they feel comfortable moving forward on the project with your company and that sales representative. So you get all these short little testimonials. Imagine putting those out on social media. All
Yeah,
these people explaining why they trust your company and why they feel comfortable moving forward. And I had about, I don't know, probably 50, 60 of these short videos. I put them all together into a compilation, and it was like a 3 minute long video. All these different homeowners, just like them, social proof, sharing why they felt comfortable moving forward on the project. And my salespeople will let every homeowner watch that before they delivered price.
that's amazing.
So they're
That's
already programming their mind and lowering their fear of making the wrong decision because they see homeowner after homeowner just like them explaining why they felt comfortable moving forward with that company and that rep. So it's huge.
yeah. That's
So
yeah, I didn't even I feel like after this I'm gonna go start my own business with all this advice.
I mean, there's so much, but yeah, at least get 2 reviews for every customer. And then there's also some companies in our industry that you can really partner up with. I know like G4 Marketing does a great job where you can send them like a box of cookies or like a little gift after the install with a QR code so you can get those reviews and referrals, which is good
Yeah.
too.
And I think that's you mentioned referrals right there, right? That's the other thing we need to be talking to our previous customers about right now, our happy customers is, hey, do you know anybody that needs this work done, right? Maybe suddenly they're hosting Christmas dinner or whatever, and their walls look awful. They need somebody to paint, right? They're talking to their colleague about this at work, saying, "Oh, I'm so stressed out. We've got to paint. I've got, 15 of my family members coming out." Hey, if you know of somebody, give them a referral. If your referral turns into an estimate for us, an in-home estimate, we'll get you a $50 gift card to Target, right? Who doesn't
Yep.
need a $50 gift card to Target this time of year, right? I can go get a gift for somebody in my family with that gift card. So,
Yeah, Target and Amazon, those are very powerful weapons right there.
yep, exactly,
And
exactly.
I will say, the easiest time for somebody to get a referral is if the salesperson shows up the day of the install. If they can show up the day of the installation, that is the easiest time to get referrals. Because if we're honest with ourselves, the homeowner's probably never expecting to see that salesperson ever again. So the fact that they see you again is impressive. But the fact that you're there for them during the installation to make sure everything's running smoothly and you're taking care of them and you're giving them the 5-star white glove experience, getting a referral at that point is real easy because now their fear of making a wrong decision is gone. And
Right.
they feel completely secure with the fact that you're going to take care of their family too. So.
Yeah, love that. Perfect. All right. Any other thoughts on staying in touch with your customers, referrals, reviews, anything like that? Kind
Yeah,
of.
I mean, where a lot of companies lack is content creation. I mean, again, I'd hate to be a broken record. You see this thing here? Start filming and documenting your jobs. Go, like, get your crews on video, take pictures, share that stuff with the world. Because the more they can
And
start seeing your crews doing work and the skill set and the attention to detail and how they treat customers, maybe you'll lay the tarps and drapes down so you're not tracking dirt and mud in their house, the
yeah,
clean work site, anything that demonstrates how your crews go a cut above to make sure people have a professional project, an elite painting job, like start throwing that stuff out there. People don't take advantage. It doesn't have to be a big production. Just film it on your phone and
yeah,
start posting that stuff out there.
yeah, absolutely.
You know?
All right. Let's take a look at the next item here. So tactics and channels, marketing off-season services. So I think this is something to think about when you are in August, you're in September, and things are about to slow down. You know your interior or your exterior painting business is about to basically be, off, right? If you're in Minnesota or wherever you might be, right? Wisconsin, nobody's painting at this time of year, right? On the exterior.
Interior.
So, yeah, all interior. So, what can we do? What is a new service we can offer? Maybe now we want to take on cabinet painting, refinishing, which is actually a fantastic idea if, we're getting ready for the holidays and those cabinets are just looking gross. You want to give a fresh, coat of stain or maybe you want to paint them. Great time to market something new like that. Outdoor holiday lighting is a great one. Maybe a little late in the season now. I think most people's lights are up, but you could still add it. Maybe there's those procrastinators like me who have no outdoor decorations at this time, and I would like to find somebody, right? This is what we're just talking about, Dom, right? Creating new content, not just of the services you offer, but what kind of content can you create that shows these new services and highlights these new services that you're offering. And this is where kind of you tie in that keep in touch with your previous customer base because, hey, we're offering outdoor, holiday lighting this year. Do you want to, did you already get this taken care of, or can we help you out with that? They trust you. They know you're going to do a good job. And there you go. You've just offered a new service to a previous customer that has a good chance of turning into a job. Not just this time of year, though, as you see this third bullet point, right? This is not the only time of year to think about that. Start thinking about what can you market in the off season towards the end of the summer. That way you can start that marketing. You can start building towards that marketing before we're in the thick of the off season. Um,
Absolutely. And on that note, now is a good time to start advertising for your spring projects, right? Whether it be, hey, a 10% discount on an exterior paint come the spring, or like Dominic gave the example of earlier, the no interest bridge loan, right? Sign now, no interest down, so that way next spring we can do the whole exterior. All of those ways we want to get creative to make sure we're not going through a downtime in what's a down season.
exactly. Yep.
Yeah, and there's obviously a lot of things going on in the interior of someone's house. I know you talked about the cabinets, obviously interior doors, things of that nature. Having some unique calls to action, some specials for getting the interior spruced up for the new year. I think there's a lot of ammunition. Then you got to think, okay, how can the skill set of my crews be transferable possibly to other verticals? Like getting things resealed. I know there's a lot of painting companies that even offer pressure washing services or cleaning services where they maybe clean and reseal a deck or a play set or maybe even the exterior of the house, obviously depending on the climate. Or there's a lot of companies will do painting services, will even offer some roof sealing application over time. But I agree that now's the time to really start stacking up your projects for the spring. Whether you own a roofing company or you run an exterior painting company, you can start selling those jobs now, do a no payment, no interest plan, a bridge loan opportunity, start stacking up those projects and create some urgency of that and some unique promotions to get the phones to ring.
Yep. Now, tactics and chant. This, I think this is a big one. This encompasses a lot, right? We talk about a website, adding a bot blog, or if you haven't blogged in a while, make a blog now, right? Write a blog that's going to get somebody's attention. Maybe vlog is more like what's in style now in 2025 than a blog, but either way, right? That works. Your Angie profile, think about all these things when it comes to your marketing and how are you going to drive more customers to your business, not just in the slow season, but as you prepare for the new year, as you're making your marketing plan for 2026. These are all things to think about. You want to make sure to update your websites, update your blog, update your Angie profile or any other profile that you might have out there, your Google business page, right? And something to start looking at as well is events, local gatherings. Here where I live, we have this is little spot called Old Town Arvada. I think at least once a month, if not every month or every day, every weekend during the summer, there's a farmer's market. And I have seen businesses down there promoting their business at this farmer's market. So start thinking about what kind of events can you get, can you start attending in the new year? Local gatherings. Think about your home shows, right? Home show season is just about upon us. So if you're not going to a conference, if you're not going to Expo, which you should be, by the way, if you're not going, then you should be thinking about, marketing your business at the local, home show in your town.
Yeah, I just want to share something. So I got one of my clients, and this is, I'd say all my top clients that I work with do this in some form of fashion, but charity events and these events where they have fundraisers, where one of my clients, they do a teddy bear drive every year where everyone donates a teddy bear to families in need that need gifts for the Christmas, for the holiday season and stuff like that. And they got 4,500 teddy bears donated, and they're going to have impact on how many hundreds, if not thousands, of families. And it's their brand and it's their company and their reputation and their contribution to their community is going to be remembered.
Absolutely.
It's one thing that was taught to me about brand, which I love, is your brand and your company, it has nothing to do with what you say or what you do. It's what the customer remembers when you're done saying it or doing it.
Yeah.
So when you can be a part of the community and contribute in a way where it changes people's lives or gives them a Merry Christmas or helps them when they're in need, you lend a hand, you support your local community. You want to talk about a way that you can build trust with the people around you and get all kinds of word of mouth and all this referral business. I mean, that's an absolute opportunity of a lifetime right there. So I just want to
Yeah.
share
And
that
I think we
nowadays.
all have something that's near and dear to our hearts, right? Whether mine is dog rescue, right?
Yep.
And there's something maybe it's baseball. Now you're gonna just, fund or sponsor the local baseball team, right? There's something that's near and dear to each of you that you can then take in and make an impact in that area.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
So,
You guys both
yeah,
took the words out of my mouth. Dom, I was about to jump into the local charities right when you did. And then
yeah.
Heidi, I was going to piggyback on that by saying, another great avenue a lot of folks see success with is that local little league, the local high school basketball team,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You guys know your market, what's popular, but that's an easy channel to not just show support. Maybe it's a local artist. If you're into art, right, you support the local scene there, and whatever it may look like for you, what's important and what's popular in your area. But to look at the school example now, that banner in that basketball gym, sure, it's getting a lot of eyes on students, but their parents are going to see that every single game day. All those teachers are seeing that. They know you're ingrained into their specific neighborhood, what's important to them, and it just builds so much more trust before your sales guy even steps foot on their property.
Yep, absolutely. So I want to talk more about though when we're in, let's say I'm a business and I am right now, I'm thinking through my marketing plan, right, for 2026. And I've got maybe thinking about lead generation, or I'm thinking about, marketing here or there. So, Don, when a business owner is thinking through their different marketing channels, give me like maybe the top three things that should be top of mind for them.
Well, diversification of marketing, first of all, is paramount. One of the things I see that really separate average companies from the elite is they have an extraordinarily diversified marketing campaign. I'm a big fan of being physically present where people are. So having a strong face-to-face marketing presence. And it doesn't have to be home improvement related shows. So think of shows where people are gathering where I can get into these shows and exhibit there for next to nothing. And when you do your due diligence on some of these shows and these opportunities, and it could be a concert, it could be a strawberry festival, it could be some like Christmas event or whatever it is, figure out ways you can get in there and exhibit. And as long as you're adding value to the event, you can negotiate those booth spaces for next to nothing. So, like for example, in 2020, my last year at Mad City, we had 620 events that we were signed up for in that year alone. And we were everywhere, like every fair, every festival, every rock concert, anywhere there's people gathering. We had displays set up at Walmart. We had displays set up at Costco, Fleet Farm. I mean, anywhere there's people are, especially if you can get a booth set up at a retailer establishment, because it's like you have a 24/7 home show, a constant stream of people walking by your company, your product, your service. But yeah, face to face is important. I know a lot of people are doing boots on the ground, which doesn't sound very attractive in the winter. But if we're being honest with ourselves, I mean, you don't have a lot of competition
Right.
that is actually doing that. So I think the opportunity is profound. And we got extensive training on not only home shows, events, but also face to face and canvassing.
Mhm.
So I think boots on the ground, just thinking about where are people gathering and where can I get in front of people and figure out a way to have a more physical presence in your local community. So those are the things that I think people really need to start thinking about. How can I, instead of going farming for my leads, going hunting for them, being more boots on the ground, which also is going to give you opportunity to get some exclusive leads too, especially if you're exhibiting at a place where there's no other painting contractors around.
Right.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing I think that's important to keep in mind is the marketing channels you already have and reviewing what's worked, what hasn't worked. Miles, this is right. You do this all the time for us at Angi, right? This is like you dive in every day with these guys, say what's working, what's not working, what should we do? Give us an idea, Miles, of what kind of how you walk through a pro, walk a pro through making adjustments and what they should be looking at and considering when they are determining how their marketing changes on the same channel through the year.
Yeah, absolutely. So, seasonality is going to be huge, but a lot of it is gonna change even if the weather doesn't change month by month. You're still going to see a lot of changes on what might be successful for you. So, constantly having in your CRM systems, in your database, whatever you're keeping, we want to always make sure we're keeping up to date stats on not just the overall. It's great to see the overall numbers of, hey, Angie's providing a 5x, right, or whatever it may be. But odds are for each and every one of you guys watching this, and I'm sure hopefully we'll have the time after this to schedule plenty of calls with you guys to go through this process. But we want to look at individually, hey, what specific zip codes? Maybe we've sent you 10 leads in and no one's answered. We can't close here. We want to trim out some of those demographics that we're not seeing success in. Maybe all of November, we couldn't close an interior 3 room, but we were killing it on 5 the whole interior home projects.
Hmm.
Awesome. Let's focus on those, right? That is something that gets overlooked well too often with our pros, is just thinking, I can do X, Y, and Z, and I can cover these areas, so I got to just have them plugged in. Where realistically, what we're seeing success in is going to be different in probably every market and every demographic and change month to month oftentimes. So keeping those stats up to date on not just your overall ROI, but task and coverage specific zip ROI really is what is paramount to our pros maybe moving from a 5x to a 12x, which are realistic jumps that I have seen firsthand. And oftentimes that is the biggest difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that one thing that a lot of our pros don't realize, which I've learned in doing some of these webinars, is Angie's not just set it and forget it, right? We're not the rotisserie guy, right? So the fact is we have a team, we have teams that can help you, that can really help you. And if you have a really good CRM, it's going to do a lot of that reporting for you. You're going to put some, type some stuff in there and it's going to tell you where you're closing, what you're closing, and give you an idea of where you should remove some things. We have reports that we can use as well that tell us what does the competition and demand level look like, right? Can we get you out of some of those higher competitive, lower demand markets, and get you in some of the, higher demand, lower competition markets. So there's a lot that we can do, and that should be considered with not just Angie, with any marketing lead generation that you're doing, or even with the boots on the ground, right? The door knocking, right? If you're not getting people answering the door, they're slamming the door in your face, let's not spend as much manpower there, right? Where are we seeing customers that are interested? Where are those needs? And I think that's, something important. You may already be marketing here. You may already have this channel open. It does not mean that that channel does not need to be adjusted, whether it's to suit your needs for the new year, or you need to make adjustments to make it work better for you.
And I think the biggest thing you said there is we're not a set it and forget it, right? We really want to make sure we're making those conscious and constant updates to keep everything optimized. And keep in mind, there might be some tasks where, hey, we're killing it in these 25 zip codes, not in the others. Great, let's remove it. But maybe in that subset that you weren't doing well in, let's say interior 5+ rooms, for example, maybe in those 25 that were underperforming in that task, they're killing it in exterior. Awesome.
Mhm.
Let's keep that coverage for just those tasks, right? We can really get as granular on a day to day basis with these changes to make sure we are constantly just sending you what's performing best.
Yep.
Yeah, I just want to give you guys a testimonial because I recall one of my last years because we were using Angi for lead gen, and we were very much taking advantage of these services. We're helping optimize the partnership between our company and Angi. And don't quote me on this, but I want to say our marketing cost was under 6% with Angie Leads because we were optimizing it every step of the way, which
Oh,
anyone watching this, if you can have a between a 4 to 6% cost of marketing for any lead gen source, that's pretty solid. So
yeah.
Absolutely.
we were
That's
loving
fantastic. Yeah.
it.
Love
Yeah, but
it.
yeah, definitely it was a back and forth, like analyzing the data, cutting out the waste, and making sure we're optimizing every dollar we're spending. So
Yeah. Dom, real quick, I want to go back to something you mentioned and how important it is about diversification of your marketing. Now I know, Grasso has a lot of very successful business clients.
yeah.
What would you, if you could, on average, and this may be a ridiculous question, but for your clients, how many areas of marketing, how diversified are there? So, like, what is maybe the minimum number of marketing channels that they have open at any given time?
I'd say 2 to 3 where they just have had success with them historically and they kind of ride it into the ground. It's like some people hold on to marketing sources a little longer than they probably should because they understand like the world is changing and people are finding contractors and home improvement projects a little different than they maybe did 15, 20 years ago.
Mhm.
So the contractors I see, yeah, minimally 2 to 3 solid marketing sources, ideally 5 to 7 minimum.
Okay.
Some of them have, I mean, it's crazy how many different marketing sources, but we're literally everywhere. They're in billboards, they have a podcast, they have a radio talk show. I have a client that has their own television show
Yeah.
and it's wildly popular. And then again, they're part of these different charities and these different fundraising campaigns, and they're deeply integrated into local events. So anywhere there's people gathering, local events, they're present. And billboards and you name it, AM talk radio, conservative talk radio. If you're trying to recruit for crews, are you doing advertisements on the Spanish speaking radio stations?
Mhm.
So they're literally everywhere. So over time, that's really the goal, right? Is it's repetition. Marketing is a game of repetition. So, and the average person needs to hear or see you for, I don't even know how many times, but they say, 7 to 10 times at least, they need to get in front of your ads and kind of see your brand present before they have any trust at all to even contact you.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure that you're being really aggressive. Obviously, we're huge fans of face-to-face marketing. I'd say of all the things that we help our clients build out is a really strong face-to-face marketing campaign. But of course, digital marketing, social media, as I talked about with YouTube, your organic, serving up free educational content. That's something that a lot of companies are starting to do aggressively now.
Yeah.
And yeah, obviously these partnerships like with Angi, I'm not here to promote any other lead provider, but there's a lot of them. And I have some clients of mine that have 30 plus lead aggregators that they work with. So it's like
Ah,
not that we want to promote that, but there's a lot of
right.
opportunity there to get a lot of support for lead generation. So it's just crazy that any company, to be honest with you, would have a trouble generating leads nowadays with all the tools and resources available.
Yeah. And I
Um,
think that's important to kind of think about too, is when we think about marketing, you're like, oh my gosh, this is going to cost me a fortune, right? But as you're talking through some of these things aren't going to cost you, I mean, minimal to almost nothing, right? Your social media,
yeah.
unless you're paying for those reaches, right? You're trying to pay for those ads and those reaches, then you're gonna pay a little bit there. But there are so many areas of opportunity to get your name out that really are going to cost, it's a minimal cost to the
I
pros.
just want to share something on that. So a lot of people they do paid ads before they have any idea if the ad's going to be effective or not. So one little tip that I learned, and this is something we're putting to work for us at Gross University, is prove it out organically first. And
Mhm.
then once you've proven it out organically, then put some paid ads, some money behind it, some firepower behind it.
Yeah,
But a lot of people, they just think something might work and they invest all this money doing these paid ads without having any data on whether or not this is what people want to see or hear. So yeah, if you can prove out your marketing efforts organically and then put some money behind it, that's going to be a much better strategy long term. So
there you go. Perfect.
yeah,
So don't get scared when you think marketing and setting up, diversifying your marketing and having, 10 different channels that not every, every channel does not have to cost you $10,000 a month.
no, 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 yeah, it
So
can be
you
very
can,
simple. So
yep, absolutely. Awesome. I love this. I love this content. This is I mean, it's super informational for me. I mean, again, I've been in this business for 12, almost 12 years and just still learning so much from this today. So excited for that. Real quick, I know we're coming up on time. I did want to just jump through a few updates at Angie just to share with those who, some of you have used us, and some people may have used us in the past, some may be using us now. We've made some really exciting updates through this year, through some of them are a little bit older. Most of them have been implemented in 2025 here. So want to just jump in and share some things about what we've changed. So if you are considering Angie for your marketing in 2026, these are some great things for you to know about, some changes that we've made. The biggest one is homeowners who choose you. So we call this homeowner choice. If you're familiar with Angie in the past, Angie or Home Advisor in the past, what would happen is we would present a homeowner with a list of four pros in their zip code that provide the service that the consumer is looking for. And all of a sudden, that homeowner is getting calls from all four of those pros, right? Just now their phone's ringing off the hook. They're trying to get through. And that did not create a great experience for the homeowner. Now the homeowner is answering, going, "Oh my gosh, what have I done? Forget this. This was a mistake. Just don't call me, lose my number." Well, now that upsets the pro, and the pro is upset with Angie at this point, right? And so the biggest change we made was we're still going to present those pros to the consumer. However, now the consumer is not just getting, matched those right off the bat. They get to go in and select or deselect the pro or pros that they want to be matched with, that they are basically consenting to contacting them. So that's been a huge change. We've seen self-reported, and I will emphasize self-reported. Miles, I think you actually have the data on this one.
I do. So, yep, as Heidi said, it is pro reported, of course, but we have seen a 7% increase in win rate, a 10% increase in 1+ minute calls. So, really signifying that significant contact rates, which when you take into account the sheer volume of leads we're projecting, or we provide, I should say, those numbers are massive, especially on the win rate, because for better or worse, a lot of our pros don't report that job status. So seeing a 7% increase out of that pro reported win rate is massive. The
Absolutely.
other big factor there too is, as Heidi was mentioning, of course, with that homeowner choice, it's going to be how many pros per lead, right? A lot of, like in the old format, we would send it out, of course, and kind of dictate who that went to, and that competition was going to typically be higher. Nowadays, while 5 pros is still the maximum the homeowner, of course, can choose, we're averaging org wide. Now, I've been in the habit of saying 2.2 is the stat I was given. Last time I said that, our VP, Brittany, actually corrected me to 1.7 pros per league org wide.
Wow.
Either way we look at it, still that is the competition per lead tends to be pretty darn low these days. And you guys can think of it why, right? No one
Right.
wants 5 pros blowing their phone up all day. We want a competing quote, right?
Even if I
So
did, I don't think I could keep five quotes straight. I wouldn't be able to remember
I
which
can't, I
quote
can't
belonged
keep
to
five of
what.
anything straight, Heidi. No, absolutely right. So, it really has been a substantial increase in the overall lead quality.
Yeah.
And again, those stats are really here to back that up.
Yeah. Um, okay, let's go take a look at the next update. Improving our product for pros. This one was a long time coming. We've been working on this for some time. We had, between Angie leads and Angie ads and the confusion between which one was which, right? We had multiple products. Now we have one single unified product. So it keeps the best of what came before, and then we give pros a new way to grow. There are still kind of two different, we could say, ways to pay, as if you want to, really simplify it. Two different ways to pay with Angie, and you can choose whichever one best suits your needs. But the one product, the unified profiles, everything like that, everything is much cleaner and more simpler for our pro network to understand. This one is big. The buzzword, so I think the buzzword of 2020, right, was "you're on mute," or the buzz phrase was "you're on mute." Now in 2025, the AI. AI is the big thing, whether it's kind of scary, it's kind of exciting, it's who knows what to think. I thank it every time I ask it to do something for me because I've seen Terminator. And so, but what this does is it targets, we have an assessment questions that can translate the homeowner's answers into clear, detailed service requests. And so basically what this has helped us with is making sure we're getting jobs done well by providing the consumer or the pro with the correct service, and getting that matched to the right, getting that service request matched to the right pro.
Absolutely. And Heidi, I'm always here for the stats. So, we have currently rolled this out to about 86% of the homeowners are using the AI matching currently. And with that, the folks using it, I should say, we've seen a 30% increase in job type accuracy, meaning, of course, 30% fewer credit requests for wrong type lead that our pros are receiving, and a 2.5x, again, self reported, but a 2.5 times higher conversion rate on these leads from our homeowners who are engaging with AI, right? So the folks who are actually going through this are converting into leads 2.5 times higher because of the support they're getting with the AI tool. So just helping generate not just a better quality, but more leads from them actually getting through the completion there as well.
Absolutely. Love it. All good things. This one is really exciting for me. The automated reply messaging, automation, as you may know it, there are a lot of sources out there that provide automation along with the CRM now or field service software. If you don't currently have one, maybe you're pretty new, maybe there's some things that you just can't invest in yet, like automation. Angi now has automated reply messaging through the mobile app. So if you're using Angi, if you do use Angi, you can go into your mobile app, go to automations, turn those on. The really cool thing I love about this is we have templates you can use. You can choose, you can change the template based on what you want to say, or you can write your own. And that's really what I will recommend, right? Write your own, make it personable. A lot of times consumers want to hear from the owner. Hey, this is Heidi, owner of Heidi's Painting. Would love to chat with you further about your project. You can put a link in there to maybe a Calendly link, or to book an estimate with you, right? To, hey, here's our availability. Go ahead and book your estimate now. That reduces some friction. So there are many things you can do with this automated reply messaging. And if you are a small business and you're at a job site, this is a game saver. This is a game changer because you can't turn around, from the customer you're face to face with, say, oh, I need to call this lead. I'm supposed to call these within 2 minutes. Now you have this automation that's going out to them right away. And Secure, this is a big one. Combating spam. So we've partnered with Secure, who is an industry leader in spam detection. And it has helped us reduce. Miles, I'm gonna let you give the stat on this one. Do you have that stat?
You know it, absolutely. So, SoCure is awesome, guys. It's detecting not just cross, I should say, not just cross-checking the personal info, right? Phone, address, email that should be associated, on online sources to dictate that, yes, this is John Smith filled out the lead and John Smith has this registered number and address, etc. It's also detecting keystrokes, right? To make sure it's not just a spam lead of somebody copying, pasting the same information 50 times and submitting 50 leads in 50 different areas for whatever reason. So since we updated with Socure, if they do detect, I should say, any of those keystrokes or any of the wrong personal info, they're getting flagged, and we actually send them basically one of those two-step verifications that we all know and love. But it's going to be one of those texts, hey, put this code in to make sure and verify they're real. And since we've kind of implemented this whole process with Socure, we've had a 30% reduction in what we'd say spam credit requests. So we can really tell that this is certainly working so far.
Absolutely. These things are huge. These have been some of the biggest changes. We've had a major focus on improving lead quality over the last few years, and I think this was our biggest year, to really making positive change, towards that. So Real quick, I just want to make sure, I know we're just at time, so I want to make sure everybody knows about the benefits that you get with Angi, with being a PCA member. You're gonna get 25% off your lead fees for the first 30 days after new enrollment. Plus you get a 6% quarterly rebate on net lead spend. So all things to think about. Also, with Miles and his team of partnership growth executives, even if you're already using Angi and you want that help to call in and optimize, and maybe you want to save a little money, you can even call to see if you qualify for one of our lead bundles right now. Even if you're already using us, you can see if you qualify for one of these bundles after you make some updates. So be sure to reach out. If you want to see what Angi can do for you, that email address is pcaleads@angi.com. For Grosso, go to grossouniversity.com. And if you don't mind, Dom, I'm going to ask one final question
Yes.
to kind of wrap us up here. So if you had let's say you have a business owner in front of you right now, and they're in the thick of planning for 2026, what advice would you give them?
Well,
I
if
know it's
you,
a loaded question, but
yeah, it's okay. But the best marketing strategy you could ever have is make sure your salespeople are expertly trained to convert on leads. Because the question I like asking owners, let's say your lead flow doubled tomorrow. How much faith do you have that your team's going to convert on those leads? Okay, so we want to make sure that our salespeople are expertly trained. And I just wanted to say on this, Gross University, we offer a program called the Sales Academy Masterclass. And this occurs the second Monday of every month. And what this is contractors all over the country, it's all virtual. They throw as many salespeople at us as they want, and we take them through a 2 week comprehensive deep dive into the art of the in-home sale. We train on an 11-step sales process. It's 100% transferable to selling a painting project. I always say anything that goes in, on, or around the house, we educate them how to sell it profitably and consistently. But we take them through a 2 week training. We even test and certify your reps as fluent at the art of the in-home sale. They take a final exam and then become a Grasso certified sales warrior. And that's the second Monday of every single month. So if you don't catch January's, you got February's. If you don't catch that, you got March. Every month we have an opportunity to throw salespeople into our training, or you personally, and we're going to teach you how to be a top performer at the art of the in-home sale, which is, in my opinion, the best marketing strategy of all. And when things slow down, when business is slowing down a little bit, now is the time to sharpen the axe and get world-class training. So when lead flow picks back up, guess what? You're converting at record levels. So converting on all those amazing Angi leads at record pace. So this is why we love our partnership, because I mean Angi and their team are doing an incredible job giving you and your team all these opportunities to make money. We're going to make sure you receive the expert training on the selling and the closing so you
Mhm.
can convert on as many of those opportunities as possible. So
Yeah,
that'd be my advice right now.
awesome. Love it. And I think that's spot on, right? Get that training done. Make sure that your folks are ready for the new year, for the plan, for your growth, and can handle that. I love it.
Yep. Now's the time to get the training. But I
Yeah.
think it was Abe Lincoln. He said if I had 6 hours to cut down a tree, I spent 4 hours sharpening my axe. So
Right. Yeah.
now's the time to sharpen the axe. So really
Absolutely.
good.
If you want to know more, grossouniversity.com, or you can call 888 Grosso U. And again, if you want to learn more about Angie and what we can do for your business, PCA leads at Angie.com. I want to one more time thank you, Dom, for joining, and of course, Miles. I know I appreciate you taking time out of your day as well for joining us here for the PCA webinar. I'm excited to share this and see this uploaded and shared with PCA members. Incredibly valuable information. So I appreciate you all.
Oh,
Yeah.
my
Thank you,
pleasure to
Heidi.
be
Thank you,
here.
Miles.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say the same. Sorry, Don, I didn't cut you off there. My pleasure to be here. Dom, thank you as well. Thank you, everybody watching, for taking the time out of your day to well, give us some time. And I look forward to scheduling some meetings and diving into a lot of your guys' accounts and seeing what we can do to help.
All right. Thank you all and enjoy your holiday season. We'll talk to you soon.